Welcome. Grab a seat on the tailgate, get yourself a cup of coffee, and let's talk. If you're listening to this, you're either a climber, a ground man, a company owner, or a utility worker standing on the edge of something massive. Maybe you're sitting in the shop right now, looking at a weather tracking cone creeping toward your coast. Maybe you're getting ready to deploy on your very first disaster contract across state lines. Or maybe you're just a veteran who knows that peace times don't last forever and you want to sharpen your mind before the next big storm season hits. Whatever brought you here, welcome. You're in the right place. I'm glad you tuned in because we need to have an honest, raw tailgate conversation about what lies ahead. My name isn't important. What matters is that I've walked the path you're about to walk. I'm an arborist and a veteran of more storm deployments than I care to count. And back in 2004, man, I was right in the thick of it during that brutal Central Florida gauntlet. 3 Category 3 and Category 4 hurricanes, Charlie, Francis, and Jean, hammered us back to back in 6 short weeks. We worked through shredded oak canopies, shattered pine stands, flooded streets, and zero power for almost 2 straight months. And I'm going to tell you something right now that every book, every seminar, and every safety video forgets to mention. Storm work is not regular tree care. You can be the best residential climber in your state. You can prune Japanese maples to perfection, drop 90-foot pines into tight backyards all day long, and have your ANSI A300 standards memorized backward and forward. But the moment a hurricane rolls through a city, the physics change. The logistics change. The psychological pressure shifts into something completely different. In normal tree care, gravity pulls straight down. The wood behaves predictably. You go home to a warm shower, a hot meal, and a good night's sleep in your own bed. In storm work, wood is under 3-dimensional tension and compression you've never seen before. Uprooted trees act like loaded catapults. Downed power lines hide under wet brush waiting for a single wrong step. You're working 14-hour days in 95-degree heat with no air conditioning, running low on fuel, eating cold tuna out of a packet, while desperate homeowners yell at you from the driveway. If you try to approach a post-hurricane disaster zone with a business-as-usual mindset, you will get yourself or someone on your crew hurt. Period. That's why this podcast exists. We built this series, all 6 episodes, to be your tactical blueprint for surviving and thriving before, during, and after a major hurricane. This series is designed for 2 specific people on the crew. First, for the new guy, the young climber or ground man who has never seen a storm zone. This is your preview of the battlefield, so when you step out of the truck, you aren't blindsided by the chaos. And second, for the senior arborist, the BCMA, or the crew leader, because even if you've worked storms before, if it's been 5 or 10 years, you forget how fast fatigue degrades your judgment. You forget how easy it is to miss a backfeeding generator line or a hidden widowmaker when you're running on 4 hours of sleep. Here's the roadmap of where we are going in this series. In episode 1, The Calm Before, we cover the critical 48 to 72 hours before impact, staging gear, securing fuel reserves, establishing radio comms, and making sure your crew's families at home are safe so your guys can focus on the job. In episode 2, Weathering the Storm, we talk about the landfall phase, tracking the eye wall, enforcing the strict no-go rule when winds cross 40 miles an hour, and managing the psychological pressure cooker inside the bunker while you wait for the storm to pass. In episode 3, the first 72 hours, we dive into the chaotic triage phase, clearing lifelines, identifying backfeeding generator hazards, handling unstable root plates, and shifting your brain out of tree trimming into emergency survival mode. In episode 4, The Physics of Stormwood, we get deeply technical, reading biomechanics under extreme stress, spring poles, barber chairs, interlock canopies, and enforcing the life-saving 2 set of eyes rule. In episode 5, The Marathon, we address week 2 and beyond, maintaining gear in abrasive storm mud, advanced hydration and nutrition protocols, and spotting the silent operational fatigue that causes veteran climbers to make fatal mistakes. And finally, in episode 6, the mental aftermath, we talk about coming home, demobilizing equipment, processing the adrenaline crash, reintegrating out into normal residential work, and looking out for your brothers and sisters when the mental debt comes due. Look, there are no heroes in storm work. The guy who tries to be a hero is usually the guy we end up carrying off the job site on a stretcher. The real professionals, the guys who thrive in this line of work, are the ones who stay calm when everything around them is burning down. They're the ones who check their knots twice, strap their tension logs, force their ground crew to drink water, and refuse to cut corners just to save 5 minutes. We do this job to help communities rebuild, to clear paths for first responders, and to put food on our families' tables. But the absolute number one goal on every single storm deployment is simple. Everybody goes home alive at the end of the day. So grab your boots, sharpen your chains, make sure your chaps are by the door, and let's get ready. If this conversation resonated with you and you want to make sure your crew stays safe this season, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and share this episode with every climber, groundman, and company owner you know. Let's get the word out before the wind starts blowing. I'll see you in episode 1.